Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, Stories from the 78, a play being revived here in Chicago by the folks at the Pegasus Theatre Chicago, directed by ILesa Duncan. The name of the play is Shakin, the Mess Out of Misery, and it could be a story that many people would have some relation to about a young woman being raised not only by family, but friends that have become family. I think everybody can relate to a little healing, a little forgiveness, and a little bit of empathy, right? That is what we are doing these days. So, ILesa, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Well, it's kind of a big day in Chicago that we're talking here. I mean, they just elected the Pope and happens to be from Chicago,
That is fabulous.
right? I don't think anybody in the entire world expected that except maybe for the new Pope himself. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about a wonderful play that you are in charge, you're the director of, and the folks at Pegasus Theater in Chicago is putting on here starting up on May 15th, correct?
That's correct.
So why don't you roll out the big fancy title of this play that you're directing?
The play is called Shakin' the Mess Out of Misery by Shay Youngblood. And we are mounting this, reimagining the production. We did it back in 2017 and bringing it back primarily because we want to honor Shay Youngblood, who is now an ancestor. She passed last June. And we wanted to I love the play and wanted to bring it back for a new generation of Chicagoans to see.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating story about just people always say it takes a village, right? But
Yes,
that's what this play really gets into. This poor woman goes through the loss of a parent, and then it's the village, if you will, some blood related, some not, that help raise her through all of the things that she has to go through.
exactly. They usher her into womanhood and teach her through stories about healing and preservation and friendship and all those things that she needs to know to go from being a child to a woman. And so she's recalling that the play really centers around her returning home as an adult to bury the last of what she calls her big mamas, and it takes her on a journey of memory, and so she reverts back to the 12-year-old who encountered them at this time, and then we get to go through the stories through her memories of that time.
And I imagine this is a great play for anybody to see, any family and whatnot. But really, if you have that relationship and you have a mother a daughter relationship in your life, this is a perfect thing for people to really dive into.
I agree, and it could be a family member. It also could be a member of the community, a teacher, someone really that has an influence, and this would be, I think, anybody can relate to this, whether, male, female, or however you identify, I could really relate to a story that's so powerful about extended family, whether they are related to you or not.
Yeah, I really think it says something when you have people that you consider family that are not blood related. But, I think if you're lucky enough in this life to have people that weren't part of your family that was blood related to you, but you have chosen family because of one reason or another, sometimes those relationships are as powerful or more powerful than, like a sibling of yours. Some people, their best friend who, brother from another mother type of stuff, right? Like
Right.
this stuff, or a mentor or what have you, right?
Exactly. I totally agree.
So
I
walk me through, what people can expect for this particular production that you're putting on. Where exactly is the location of this one?
We're at Chicago Dramatists, where we're theater in residence, and that's in Chicago's Westtown neighborhood at near Milwaukee, Chicago, and Ogden, and the address is 798 North Aberdeen, and so it's street parking. It's easy to get to. It's near the Blue Line Chicago stop if you're taking public transportation, and it is approximately an hour 15. I'm sorry, is it? Yeah, 115 minutes, not an hour 15,
Ah, it's
with an
close.
intermission. So
Yeah.
it's a good time to have. There's music. a cappella music, there is storytelling, there is compelling uh, memories that she has that I think will everyone will be able to relate to. And there's humor, there's some tragedy, but there's lots of humor and soul searching and just a really wonderful connection for folks to make.
And being the director of this particular play, is there a certain weight on your shoulders to portray this in a way that that you see fit, or is this something more exciting for you? But run me through like just being the director of this and what it means to you to be able to put this on.
It means a lot because I really love Shay's work, and I think she adapted this play from a book that she wrote called The Big Mama Stories, and so I think for me, I related to the stories in that play just from my own experience, and so I do have that investment, and I think everybody who comes in contact with that work really can relate. Again, it's such a compelling and powerful story of family and relationships and growing up. So we all have our experiences of what it's like to grow up and what is it that you need to go from childhood to adulthood. And so I think that's the compelling part, and the music is just really wonderful. And I think there's just all kinds of stories that you can relate to, whether it's stories about surviving a harrowing situation or a funny situation, learning how to fish, learning how to do different activities that I think young people uh, can enjoy, but they will remember for a lifetime.
And being that it is in Chicago, this play happening, what does that say about the Chicago theater community for you to be able to put on a show like this from the cast point of view, but also getting people out to the theater?
An important thing. I think a lot of theaters have had a slow go of recovering from the shutdown and the pandemic,
Mhm.
but we are recovering, and I think audiences really relate to this story and love the story. So, folks, come out and see it. It's support your theaters. We are here and love to be in connection with our communities from all parts of the city.
And you're the director of this. You've been in theater for a long time. Just give
Mhm.
folks a little bit of a background on your history, just because if you don't get to be director right out of the gate, you had a little time to cut your teeth, if you will, before getting to this spot.
Yes, I probably started getting involved with theater when I was still in elementary school. You know, those like programs that happen between when you're on holiday break. I got involved in a program like that and continued through high school. I went to Columbia College and uh, my major was surprisingly enough, not theater, but
Finance or something?
communications, writing, and those kind of things. But I was always doing theater at the same time, so I was able to work inside the school as well as in theaters around the city to learn my craft and become a director.
What area of the city did you grow up in?
I did not grow up in Chicago, but
Home.
I've been here since probably right before college age. So I came here pretty young. So, but I was on the north side. So I grew up in, um, uh, why is my brain fried
Because I
suddenly?
asked you a question, you had no idea that I had asked you. I'm sure. I'm sorry. I just like to ask sometimes.
No, but I grew up in Boys Town, really what they call Boys Town, but
Sure, North Halsted
Lakeview.
area. Yeah.
And I also spent time in Bronzeville, so I'm in Hyde Park now. But yeah, so I've been in different parts of the city and worked with theaters all over the city.
But
So yeah.
doing what you've done for as long as you've done it, what is the thing that you take with you every day, like your most proudest, little notch on your belt, if you will, that you just carry with you from production to production?
I think the idea of collaborating, I've always been a fan of new work, and although this is not a new work, I approach it as if it is. I've also been part of the Chicago Dramatists family as well as Lifeline Theater, and both of those theaters have really focused in different types of new work. So Lifeline being more adaptation, Chicago Dramatists is brand new plays with a resident playwrights who are developing their work. So I've always really loved doing that. I've worked with Chicago Theatre Company, which was on the South Side. They don't exist anymore, but I learned a lot and actually started my professional directing career with them, and have just had the honor of working at theaters like the Alliance in Atlanta and in DC, and so all of those things are always the idea of community. So we're doing a play about community, but
Hmm.
doing theater and creating work for an audience and for our communities is a community collaborative kind of process. And so I always like taking that away from any work that I've done is the idea that you're collaborating either with a playwright, also with a team of artists, designers. It takes a whole village of us artists and people who love that craft to come together to create work, and to see audience reaction and how they respond to the work and how it has the ability to change lives.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
why art and theater or music so important because,
yeah,
like you said, people who get turned on to something, excuse me, music or theater, it could really alter the course of their life in all the good ways. And to go out
absolutely.
and experience theaters where you get your start, then you want to be a part of it and whatnot. So thank you for doing the work that you do and putting a big giant flag in the middle of the city of Chicago for theater for people to check out. It's wonderful that you do this and all the people that put the work in for this production keep on doing it regardless of post the pandemic and everything else. We want to remind folks that theater in Chicago is beautiful and people should definitely come out to shaking the mess out of misery, playing the 15th through the 16th of June, correct?
The 15th of May through the 15th of June.
Yeah, I
Yes.
should say, yeah, I should have said May. I didn't want people to think it was just 2 days, but yes,
Yes.
big show run there. Where can people buy tickets for this?
They can get tickets online at our website. Just go to pegasustheatrechicago.org, and you'll click on links there to get your tickets. And we look forward to seeing everybody. And thanks so much for inviting us here to talk to you about it. This is very important as well, the work you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But a pleasure's all mine to have you on this talking about your career, this particular play, and I imagine you'll have some other things coming up as the months and weeks roll by after this run here, and we'll be listening and looking for it after that. But first, enjoy this production coming up here on May the 15th, right?
And I should add too, this is also in collaboration with Healing Illinois. So because it's such a play about healing, we do have some special events around that. So like June 1st, I think there is a group doing a post-show discussion about healing and women and community healing. We have a sound healer that's doing work after one of our shows on, I think, May 25th, that last Sunday in May. So please come out to support that as well, because I think we're at a time where healing is really important in how we communicate and connect with one another. So, and this is such a powerful part of the story that we were lucky enough to also be able to bring Healing Illinois together and work to create this
Yeah, that's
extended ideas about the show and healing and community.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say healing and community when at the beginning of this we talked about Chicago being home to the first pope that has ever been named out of the United States. So full circle
Yes.
moment within the interview, different kind of healing, but either way, healing the soul, the body and the mind are all important aspects of healing. Uh, I don't want to butcher your name, so I want you to roll off that beautiful sounding name that you have and thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I'm ILesa Duncan and with Pegasus Theater, and we look forward to welcoming Chicago audiences to see Shaking the Mess Out of Misery.
Awesome. Alicia, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's all I needed. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Have a
Yeah.
great rest of your day.
You too. Take care.